Okay, welcome everyone to a bit of Demise Talks Crawl, where we go through a bit more of a niche topic regarding Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup, and generally, like, just whatever seems to catch my eye of the day. Today we're going to be talking about opportunity cost, which is a concept that I like to use when I am evaluating the strength or value of a certain mechanic or a certain part of the game. It's basically an economic theory that says that if you pick A, you pay the cost of A to purchase A, but you also pay the opportunity cost of foregoing B. So an example that I was using the other recording session before I royally screwed it up was if an apple costs like $10 or something, right? And a banana costs $5. When you pay for an apple with $10, you've paid the $10, but you've also lost out on two bananas because they're five each. So that helps us it acts as a lens, I suppose, that I've been using at least to help us determine the quality of something in the game. And the main reason why I do this is because it's very easy for people to fall into the, I suppose, trap of arguing the merits of X mechanic. Say, for example, oh god, there's so many that I want to use, but they're already in the slides. Didn't plan that one out, hey. But basically, you'll always see these posts these posts on Reddit, on Tavern, in the comments, on Discord, like literally anywhere where people talk about crawl, where people will kind of hunker down and say like, okay, this mechanic is really damn good. But then they'll just say, everything is really damn good. Every single thing is really damn good. Of course it's really damn good. It adds benefit to your game. It adds a non-zero benefit to your game. The main reason why something is not good or not bad is because of the opportunity cost that it has, that it is attached to it. The opportunity cost is a way that I use to apply context to my mechanics. If something is good in a vacuum, that doesn't necessarily mean it's good in the game, because it often costs something that isn't, I suppose. Oh man, I missed another topic. Damn it! All right, well we'll just keep going. We'll just push through. I've already been doing this for like 10 minutes. Let's use the example of necromutation. This is the classic example of opportunity cost at work. Opportunity cost being, necromutation is a really great spell. It will smite target, summon a whole bunch of dudes on the enemy, including wraiths, hungry ghosts, the phantasmal warriors, and a bunch of other great goons, right? Hooray. What a great spell. Smite targeted, it's summoning, it blows, it fills the screen with dudes that aren't even that bad. So clearly, clearly Haunt is a good spell. Did I say necromutation? I meant Haunt. Oh god. Well, whatever, I said Haunt, right? I hope I said Haunt. I can't go back and look. So Haunt's a great spell, right? Well, unfortunately, it isn't that great because opportunity cost fills us in and says, hang on a second, if you're going to get a level 8 or 7 spell, whichever one the hell it is, I think it might actually be level 7, you're going to need a lot of spell casting, but also you're going to need a lot of necromancy, and you're going to need a lot of summoning. Now, necromancy and summoning are basically two schools that do exactly the same thing. They fill the screen with dudes. Picking up about 15-ish in both of them is a massive waste of time, because there's rarely any opportunity where you'll need to have both of them at the same time, because they both fill the same gap, effectively. So usually when you're using opportunity cost, we're going to look at what is the point, what do we miss out on picking up when we pick up X thing, right? So with the example of Haunt, you're picking up 15-ish, maybe to 20 in summoning, 15 to 20 in necromancy, and you're using that EXP to get a level 8 spell that is pretty good, but unfortunately you're wasting a ton of EXP on either summoning or necromancy when you could just do one or the other, and then divert the extra EXP into defenses, other spell schools, things that are more, I don't know, effective. Maybe a weapon, that kind of stuff. It adds to your character rather than going down a rabbit hole, I suppose. So we'll use another example, Blowguns from the Blowgun series. I tried to formulate over the course of the series, the Spriggan Assassin that has been posted pretty recently. I've tried to formulate as exactly why Blowguns weren't so good, and I'm trying to use... This isn't fully fleshed out, keep this in mind. I've only just made this like 20 minutes ago. But effectively, the reason why I came to the conclusion that Blowguns are bad is because of the opportunity cost that they have. So, what do Blowguns offer, right? They offer full screen crowd control through, Carrera needles, which are really good, paralysis needles, which are insane, sleeping needles, which are good, they're full screen and source hibernations, and the fact that all of the needle stuff does not relate to magic resistance, it only relates to hit dice. It also, Blowguns are pretty good because you train throwing, right? And throwing gives you access to things like javelins, tomahawks, and whatever you want to throw. I don't know, whatever. Right, so you can use Blowguns to effectively offer the same niche, I suppose, as Ensorcelled Hibernation, or a Wand of Paralysis at really high evocations, or whatever, right? But it also offers you a whole bunch of other options. What is the cost, though? Throwing skill. Throwing skill is really rough. Because of the way that the formulas work, I finally kind of remember it now. It's like 2 or something plus 1d bracket enchant weapon plus enchantment of the weapon plus hit your throwing skill. And if that number is greater than the hit dice, then it succeeds. It's just, it's annoying. But basically, you're going to need about 20 to 27 throwing skill if you want to hit stuff that's, mildly good. For example, Gold Dragon stuff, I could actually hit with Paralysis Needles, which is really quite strong if you think about it, considering Ensorcelled and other hexes don't work on Gold Dragons because of their high MR. But I was able to do that with about 20 to 27 throwing skill. It also costs you about 9 enchant weapon scrolls because obviously you want to have that blowgun enchanted. It's going to increase the success rate of you being able to fire it, assuming that LearnDB is correct with its formula. It'll also cost you about 5 to 10 item slots because you're holding the blowgun, a couple of needles, maybe 1 throwing weapon, but it'll cost you quite a couple of item slots. But the problem is the opportunity cost is where the blowguns really fall flat. Because the cost to entry is so damn high with the blowgun cost, especially because they've been nerfed, so that they're a lot less effective at early levels, you're going to be putting a lot of EXP into a semi-reliable, if not unreliable, mechanic. If you look at the character that I ended up with the Spriggan Enchanter, I kind of had nothing except the blowgun and just generic fighting skills, which is fine because I was Trog, but I actually missed out on quite a couple of other things that I could have had as a Spriggan. With the EXP that I put about 20 something into throwing. Also, I was constantly stuck at item slot, the max item limit, and I was also forced to pick Trog or Okawaru. Trog or Okawaru because you need to get those blowguns. If you don't get then you need to get needles. If you don't get needles, then your blowgun doesn't work. So in order to support this horrible blowgun addiction, unfortunately, I was forced to pick up Trog or Okawaru, and I picked Trog, which further cost me extra hunger and cost me spellcasting, which is a real pain. Next time, definitely going to be picking Okawaru, but at the end of the day, Spriggan probably wasn't the best. Look, to be fair, Spriggan probably wasn't the best choice for this. But I put a red line here on the right here to show you kind of what you've given up in order to get access to the blowgun and to use the blowgun. So, Ensorcelled Hibernation is definitely the alternative to blowguns. Doesn't mean you necessarily give up on it. You can pick both, but why, right? Why would you do that? Makes no sense. So you miss out on stuff like hexes, just generally. And by missing out on hexes, you eventually miss out on summoning spells like, Summon Mana Viper, for example, which is one of the best hex summoning, or it's the best hex summoning and one of the best summoning spells in the game. You miss out on other gods, for example, Gozag, Ashen Zari, Ru, whatever, whoever you want to pick. If you're going for that same style with the same, blowgun idea of, oh, I'm going to use blowguns to stab shit, or oh, I'm going to use blowguns to, kind of disable stuff from full screen and maybe get a stab off or maybe just beat them up with a melee weapon. You're also missing out on a lot of other things. You're missing out on the spell choices with that EXP. You're missing out on the god choices. You're missing out on a whole bunch of item slots, which makes the game just horrible to play, by the way. You're missing out on quite a lot of things. That doesn't necessarily mean that blowguns are bad, because if you were forced to pick blowguns, they'd be fine, because they add, like I said, they add something positive to your game, clearly. But unfortunately, the opportunity cost of a blowgun is so high that it's often not worth picking it. Or in fact, it's almost never worth picking it, especially in its significantly nerfed state. This is what I mean by sort of we're kind of figuring out the quality of a mechanic, I suppose. The blowgun is fine, but you're missing out on all of this other stuff. Like the blowgun, I haven't included this here, but you could also have had put all the XP in blowguns into fighting, dodging, and weapon skill, and suddenly everything has slightly more evade, slightly more health, slightly more armor, slightly faster swing speed, maybe a stronger weapon, blah blah blah, whatever I have. All that stuff is potentially used, is potentially useful, or it comes into play more accurately when the throwing skill is removed. So that's my first example. Maybe it hasn't convinced you. But we'll look at Chei versus Okawaru. This is one of those opportunity cost things that I like to, that I always think about, but I haven't really ever fleshed out again. So, what makes what makes Chei the thing that new players will latch onto, and the thing that really makes him quite? How do I formulate this? I guess. Why do people call him a bad god? Basically, why do people call him a bad god when new players call him a good god? Well, the new players often don't look at opportunity cost, like I said. They don't know about all the other gods and how to use them all effectively. So they see Cheibriados and they're like, hey, that guy, pretty good, pretty damn good. Makes me the tanky boy. Because he gives you strong invocation-based abilities. Slouch is insane, obviously. Step from time is great. I forgot what the other one is. Skip time. You know the one. The slow one's pretty damn good, right? They only cost a mild, 16, 20 invocations to get really good. But, at the end of the day, they're really damn strong. I mean, the one that skips 2k turns, I forgot what it's called. It's either Step from Time or the flow of time is convoluted in Lordran. I don't know what it's called. Temporal distortion, something. But it also gives you 15 to all stats. So strength in dex. Obviously, the stats are a meme thing. Let's just ignore that. Let's just look at it for what it actually is. Strength gives you the slaying, dex gives you the dodging, and also stealth and whatever, and accuracy, and it gives you spell casting. So that is quite a significant benefit. 15 in all stats is a significant benefit. The con of Chei is obvious, right? The permanent slow, can't berserk, can't haste. But again, we're going to use opportunity cost to contextualize this and figure out why Cheibriados is not a great pick. We compare it to Okawaru. We can note that we can compare it to literally any other god in the game except maybe Quaslol, right? Or maybe Zom and Quazzle and possibly Fedass. And you'll see why. The benefits of Okawaru. Okay, strong, cheap invocation-based abilities. So these are incredibly powerful, +5 to all combat skills, double your attack speed, or halve your swing delay, whatever you want to call it. Very cheap to get invocations. It's about 10 to 12, maybe 15 if you're like me and you just enjoy having 0% fail, finesse, whatever, right? Also gives you armor, weapon, and ammunition-based gifting. Piety's really easy to get, just like Okawaru. Just like Chei. Same thing, right? They effectively function not exactly the same, but they play with the same-ish archetypes, mostly in the scaled or full melee styles. You're not really going to go stabbing on Chei. You're not really going to go stabbing on Okawaru. You're not really going to go pure mage on Chei. You're not really going to go pure mage on Okawaru. You can do it, but just why? Just pick a regular god, right? The difference is Okawaru has 0 cons. There are no bad sides to Okawaru, like literally none. He does not offer any downside. Oh, actually, wait, no, he has one. You can't intentionally attack your own allies. Who gives a fuck? Like, right? That's like such an irrelevant downside that I didn't even include it. I didn't even think about it. But effectively, he gives 0 downside, with strong positives compared to Chei, who gives strong positives but a strong negative. So as you can see, the opportunity cost here, when you consider Chei and Okawaru next to one another, is actually pretty hefty. Because you're picking Chei, you're losing out on the power of Okawaru, which is guaranteed to get you that win. Almost guaranteed. Once you get a 1 pip, you're like, it's proven that he is insanely strong, right? But you're also costing yourself that extra slow. So you're paying double, I guess, for what you've already picked. When you've picked Chei, you pay double. You pay for the slow. You also pay because you can't pick another god that actually has good, upside. So even if it comes out that Chei's stuff is better than Okawaru's, for example, and it probably is, to be completely honest. If you know how to use all Chei's stuff, he's probably stronger than Okawaru if you look at just the benefits. But you're also paying for the fact that Okawaru is really tried and tested, and you're also paying for the fact that you're permanently slowed, which costs quite a bit, right? So again, don't treat this as, oh my god, I'm a fucking Chei one trick, bro. Don't talk shit about my god. No. We're talking about new players, right? Trying to figure out how to contextualize and how to compare mechanics, because it's more fun, I think, to discover all these things, get a database of stuff, and then figure out why one thing is better than the other, right? That's what I'm trying to point out right now. So if you're a Chei one trick, or you're like, oh bro, I played Chei back in 09, bro. I fucking know everything about this guy. I'm so damn good. I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter, okay? It's just an example. Chill out, dude. There's like a freaking 100 other examples we could use. Like Quaslol. Noise. Same thing, right? You're paying for all the good shit with noise. But you're also paying for it because you can't pick a god that isn't noisy as shit, right? That's the payment that you have to put up. So I want to give a bit of a, I suppose, exercise as to which one. I want to see if we can apply some of these ideas to some of the more difficult questions to ask. This is a much more difficult example because it still really hasn't been answered conclusively. Different players will say different things. Basically, yeah, like I can think of like 5 people that will say never go one-handed, and I can think of 5 people that say never go two-handed, and I can think of me that says I don't give a shit, I'll just pick whatever I can. And that's like a bunch of other people that say that as well. But there is a big debate about one versus two-handed weapons, and I've used the example of long blades versus, just long blades, like a one-handed long blade versus a two-handed long blade. But you could also apply this to a one-handed anything versus a two-handed anything, including say for example, long blade to axes or a long blade to polearms. But then the example obviously gets much more difficult. So let's look at the left-hand side first, the demon blade, or just any one-handed short sword. Long blade. You got reliable damage. Yeah, we know that. Everyone knows the demon blade, the scimitar. They do pretty good damage. They'll win you a 3-rune game any day of the week. They're very cheap. 14, maybe 16 long blade. Oh, big deal. Very, very cheap. And it naturally brings you into a shield-based playstyle where you get a shield, any shield, whether it be a buckler, a shield, or a large shield. Usually on a melee character, you're gonna go for a shield though. You're definitely gonna go for a regular shield. 25 skill to get a large shield, probably way too hefty of a price. And bucklers just don't offer enough protection to really be worth it ever. Whereas on the right hand side, you got a great sword, for example, or a triple sword, whatever the hell you want to use. It's got great damage. We know that. It's a two-handed weapon. Of course, it's gonna do great damage. The only two-handed weapon that sucks is like quarter staves, and as in like the literal weapon, not the archetype. Larger Tang's pretty good. Larger Tang is alright. And dire flails. Those guys are the only ones that. Wait, hang on. Is there a mason? Is there a polearm? Oh yeah, bard dishes. They suck as well. I'm talking about raw damage. I mean, they suck for their two-handed status. But generally speaking, your two-handed weapons are going to be pretty high in damage, the base damage. In fact, they're obviously the highest base weapon damages that you can get. But it also is quite expensive. Long blades cost, what, 22, 24? I think 22. Yeah, I think 22 to get to Mindalay. And, wait, see, I've gotten all fuzzy because I haven't played in a while. And triple swords are what, 24, 26? Probably 24. I actually don't remember. Anyway, they cost you upwards of 20 long blades to get to Mindalay. It's expensive. It's more expensive than the other one. But you skip the shield, which means that you don't have to pay that 15 skill differential, and you also lose that defense that you get from said shield. So you're trading off between better damage and slightly, I would say, more efficient pathing, possibly. I don't actually know how the math works out. For the more quick damage and also the shield. So defense versus damage, which one's better? Usually that's like what the argument boils down to. And the question that you have to ask then is, which one's better? Well, that's really up to you. There's a couple of things that I think will help you figure out which one's better. It's also context. It's very context dependent. For example, if you're playing a ogre, would you pick a one-handed or a two-handed sword? Actually, with an ogre, you'd pick an axe because those are +0. I think long blades -1, possibly. If there's 0, then you should probably pick long blades too. But would you pick a two-handed weapon for an ogre, or would you pick a one-handed weapon? Well, first of all, ogres are large, so you cost less to buy shields. It's only 9 to get a regular shield to Mindalay, 15 to get a large shield, so it's incredibly good defense. It's good bang for your buck. Ogres are also really squishy in terms of their stat defenses. So their evade and their armor tends to be a bit lower because they don't have body armor and they don't have auxiliaries. So you probably should go for a shield. It's cheaper and it gives you better defense, and you have pretty good aptitudes for it. Not horrible, right? On a Spriggan, for example, or a Kobold, would you go one or two-handed? Well, first of all, you might have to think. Okay, well, Spriggans, for example, can't wield shit in the two-handed category. In fact, some of the one-handed weapons are two-handed in their category, so your damage is going to be pretty low. You can wield a Demon Blade in one hand, and you can also get a Buckler. But Bucklers cost more, 5.2 I think, or 5.6. If you're playing a Kobold, let's use the example of Kobold because it's a bit less extreme. You're going to need an ass load of shield. I think you need like 20 something to get your regular shield to not be hampering your combat anymore. So that's a lot of spells that you're getting. On top of that though, you can't wield some of the higher end weapons. So there are really, really weird niche cases that you'll have to consider. So it's impossible for you to say which one's better, just generally. However, there are people that do sit on either side of the fence. But I'm just trying to show you that there are a lot of times where opportunity cost will help you based on things like your character. Where are you right now? What kind of aptitude you've got? All that kind of shit. That's the kind of stuff that really requires you to think about opportunity cost. Because if you don't have an idea, you're just going to blindly go for X mechanic because you heard it was good somewhere. All right, I think I lost the point that I was trying to make. So I'm going to end the video here. I'm just going to leave you with an image of I looked up Demise AU to see if I could find my own YouTube comment, my own YouTube thumbnail. Turns out that there is some chick on YouTube, on DeviantArt using Demise AU, and all she's interested in is this guy from basically the next Naruto. And she just loves gender swapping him. So enjoy. I'll probably be putting more of her work on the end of these videos because they're a bit more fun. Holy shit, we've been talking for 23 minutes. Okay. This was supposed to be a really short video, a super short video, but I guess 23 minutes is okay. I am making these videos mostly because I don't have time to be doing longer videos, and also I have. If you didn't watch yesterday's video, my net has been shitting itself. My computer has been shitting itself. It's really hard for me to record or do anything. I can't even play League on my main account because it keeps crashing in the middle of the game, and I just basically will lose any ranked game that I play. So it's been really frustrating for me. Thanks for your patience, guys. I will be eventually back at some point, but for the time being, I'll probably be focusing more on these bit more niche videos, and my upload rate will go down considerably until I get a new computer. But that's just the nature of things. If you want to see me do any specific answer any specific questions, go through any mechanics that you feel have been undeveloped, go through any character builds, character guides, whatever the hell you want, Like I said, let me know, guys. I will definitely be doing a lot of them because I have a lot of, spare time from the schedule now. And these videos are a little bit easier for me to make because they don't rely on me sitting for 45 minutes straight playing a game that might crash on me. In fact, I don't even know if OBS is going to survive until the end of the game, until the end of this video. So I'm going to end it here. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you all whenever I can see you.